Lagos Business School, Pan-Atlantic University.
One particular point of action that we have is financial inclusion. There are 4 out of 10 adult Nigerians who have no access whatsoever to any financial service. And we have numerous research and data points that show that this is actually not contributing to better their lives. So we are very active on financial inclusion in Nigeria and other countries around the world to provide financial inclusion, because we know that that will help poor people get out of poverty on a sustainable level.
Any other thing you would like to add to that?
So in Nigeria, as I said, 4 out of 10 adults are excluded, and we want really to engage with all the stakeholders in the country, the central bank, the government, the banks, all the private sector, together to solve this problem, because by 2020 we want to lower that number. We want 8 out of 10 adults in Nigeria to have a bank account.
Your name, sir?
I'm Kosta Peric, Deputy Director for Financial Services for the Poor at the Gates Foundation.
Thank you. Do you think that, final question for you, do you think that we can actually get to a society where the poor no longer exist, or they can coexist with the rich?
Yes, I deeply believe that. That's why I'm here. I have worked many years at SWIFT in the banking sector, and I have changed my whole career path to help in this endeavor. So I'm an optimist, and I'm an impatient optimist.
Okay, basically what we're doing with the foundation is to investigate and deepen our knowledge of how the gaps exist. So right now, Kosta mentioned that there's 4 in 10 that are excluded from financial services, but how can we close these gaps? And these are not about just having the products and services, but are they the right products and services? What are the constraints that are there? What are the regulatory constraints? So we're going to be engaging in a research initiative that will try and address these gaps and help the banks and the regulatory providers also see the meaning and the need to change. So it's going to be an evidence-based approach that shows that, we're not just speaking hypothetically, but we actually have the evidence to show what can work and what can't work. And then the banks can begin to see how they can begin to develop better products and services to address the needs of the poor. And once the poor are in the financial system, it's good for everybody, because it deepens their access to formal credit, etc., etc.
Okay, I'm going to go to the aspect of credits now. What specific things will the poor need? Some of them don't even have good saving culture. They don't have collaterals when they go to the bank, and they need money to either, push their businesses to the next level. So how does this all tie to what you have here?
And this is why we have to look at each on a product by product basis. So when you talk about the poor, we're using a generic term. There's different types of poor. There's a trader, there's the person in agriculture, there's different things. So when we begin to explore and investigate, the needs of each would be different. But yet, how do we know, why can't his produce be collateral? Okay? Why can't her goods in stock or inventory be collateral? So it's not about a one-size-fits-all approach. It's about how do we address the needs of these consumers, because we don't know who they are, we don't know how they operate, but yet we need to serve them. We need to bring them into the structure and the system. And if we don't seek to understand, seek to develop, seek to innovate, then we're not helping them in that area at all. So the whole idea of the initiative is for each product level, whether it's payments or remittances or credit, savings, how do we enhance and develop it? Because the entry point is bring them in to a virtual account or a bank account. But subsequently, how do you ensure that they continue using and they stay in? So those are the things we're going to be investigating.
But banks also have their own challenges. You like to tell us, and how you think they can overcome their own challenges too?
Well, they need to overcome the challenges, because what we need to understand is that this is a collective initiative. it's a national initiative, it's a national imperative. So when the banks tell us that, oh, they don't have access to deeper credit pools, how can we build access to deeper credit pools if we're not opening up the credit space? So there's a ripple effect of all these things, but yet we need to, first of all, bring each other and engage with each other at the same table, have conversations, and then we need to collaborate, we need to co-create, and we need to do more together. So what we are doing at Lagos Business School is we're just sort of the facilitator of all these things. We're not going to be the ones to do the work, but we're going to be able to show you and explore with you how you can get these things done, and that's our role.
My final question,
Okay.
with initiatives such as this, do you think that our mono economy will finally be revived when everybody has access to do XYZ businesses?
That's a tricky question because you see, this isn't a magic bullet. We'll start this, we would engage in different challenges and different constraints. But right now, what we're focused on is how can we deepen the access to formal and informal financial services, take the number from 6 out of 10 to 8 out of 10, because that's really what we need to be doing. And then the economic space will change, and then the needs will be different. The things we're going to need to do will be different. So I'm not a fortune teller. I'm not going to speak into the future. I think right now, can we address the issues that we need to address? That's why
Have I
I'm going
answered
to.
everybody's question? Thank you for your thoughts.
Thank you very much.
Lagos Business School, Pan-Atlantic University.